Welcome to the Cultivate Beauty podcast. I am your host, Kelly Torrance, and this is a show where we come together and have some honest conversations about what it's really like to work, grow, thrive, and survive in the beauty industry. My guests and topics are all people and things related to what's happening right now in our salons, behind the chair, in the treatment room, in our beauty schools, in our training facilities, at a state board level, and beyond. I'm going to be covering all scopes of beauty. So if you're ready to help me cultivate a fun-loving, passionate group of informed professionals, then please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Cultivate Beauty podcast. Today's episode features Miss Ashleigh. Estie Ashleigh is here in the house, and we are going to talk about some fun things because she's got the Estie Collective. And if you haven't heard about it, well, you're going to hear about it today. We're going to talk about ways to just take care of our own selves. We get wrapped up and take care of everyone else every day, and we kind of forget about us. We get thrown on the back burner, but we need to talk about self-care, mental health, and then she's also got a new project she's working on that we're going to toss in the mix too here in a little bit. But Miss Ashleigh, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm
for
so
coming.
excited. I'm excited, nervous.
I'm excited to hear about all the stuff you've got going on. In the industry, we get so kind of like our blinders on in like the service aspect of the business that sometimes we forget to like take a breather and look around. And like there's so many other things going on in the industry that we can be a part of.
Right.
So before we jump into all that, tell the people about your journey into the industry, how long you've been in the industry, all of that. Take it away.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. So I actually became an esthetician 5 years ago, I think last Monday, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, last Monday was my 5-year mark.
Happy 5 years.
Yeah, I'm like, it's so exciting. So yeah, I've been in the industry for 5 years. How old am I now? I had to be like 22. I was 22 when I started.
I was not 22.
I was 22
5 years ago.
No.
That's all right. That's another story for another day.
She was like, nobody needs to know that though, okay? Yeah, no, I was 22 years old when I started. But funny enough, I actually didn't want to be an esthetician or like in the beauty industry at all. At all.
What did you want to be? What did little Ashleigh want to be?
I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. But let me tell you, I worked in an elementary school and I learned the hard way. I like small increments of children.
Not large.
Kids are hard. They're not that they're hard. It's just there's too many of them at one time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so overwhelming. And like the pressure that gets put on teachers is like insane. And the backlash from parents. And it's just like there was so much chaos. So I was like, this is giving me too much anxiety. Because I was, funny enough, I guess my journey kind of starts because I was in Walnut Creek at the time. I was a live-in nanny. And it was great for a while, but it just became like a very toxic environment. And my mom was like, Ashleigh, you need to figure out what it is that you want to do with your life. I was like, I know, like 20-year-old Ashleigh, I'm like, I know. And so I was there for about a year or so. And then I was like, I think I'm going to go to beauty school, Mom. She's like, really? You're going to go? I was like, I know. She was like, you always said you didn't want to, but it's not that I didn't want to. Like, I love the beauty industry. I grew up in a salon. My mom's a nail tech. My sister's a hairdresser. But I tried so hard to avoid it because I didn't want to be like them. But truthfully, it makes me so happy being in a salon.
In your blood.
It is.
Yep.
So when I was in Walnut Creek, I was like touring schools out there because I was like, well, maybe I can go part-time while I'm being a nanny. And then things just ended up not working out there. And so I moved back home and my mom's like, well, what are you going to do? And so literally maybe a week after being home, I was like, I'm going to Milan. She was like, what? I was like, I already did a tour. I signed up. She's like, what do you mean you signed up? I was like, I'm going to be an esthetician. And I did it because I loved makeup. It's soon found out in beauty school, I did not like doing makeup on other people, just myself. Yeah, I know. But when I was in beauty school, I also learned I really love doing facials. Like I thought it was so fun. And I thought that would be the one thing that intimidated me the most in an esthetician school, which is like the main focus when you're in beauty school is facials. But I was like, I'm so scared. Like I remember I would be like nervous to touch someone's face because I was like, I don't want to hurt them or like the chemicals. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a student.
I was the most nervous about learning waxing.
I wasn't nervous to wax.
I was so nervous to wax. And then I was forced to wax like my classmates' eyebrows. And
no, not the eyebrows.
Like, oh my God. That's like the worst
Dear
first
Lord,
thing to have to wax. Please. And then I did that first strip and I was like, oh, yeah.
You're like, that's not that
bad. I was like, I'm good. Let's do this.
We can do this.
Yeah. It was waxing for me. was what I was the most nervous about.
Really? See, waxing didn't scare me, but like I said, I grew up in a salon, so I had like watched people do it, and then I would do my own like lip and stuff growing up because I have these things at my disposal.
Yeah.
So I'd be in the back of my mom's salon, like dee 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 dee, like has no idea I'm doing my own services, and she's like, Ashleigh,
She's like, that's weird. You just don't have facial hair.
I was like, that's crazy. So crazy because she'd be in the front doing nails, and I'd be like in the back where all the wax setup was. I'm like.
So how was your experience in beauty school?
I was really lucky.
Yeah.
I feel like I hear so many horror stories
Yeah.
about beauty school. Like they hated it. It's just you have to be there, which is true. It is like you just have to do it.
Yeah.
But I actually really enjoyed beauty
Yeah.
school. Like
I did too.
loved it. I got so lucky with the group of girls I went through like my different phases with there.
Uh-huh.
And we're actually all still friends. So I guess I don't know. I got
That's
lucky. Like we would have like
good.
sleepovers and like study together. Like it was really cute. It
Yeah.
was like some like
Did you have a big class?
There was 8 of us.
Oh, that's small.
Yeah, it was tiny. And then we phased into like the big class, which has like 40 girls. But when we phased into the big class, we all kind of like stuck together in the back row and we would help each other.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because we all had different focuses. So like where one would excel, she would help with the other. Where we would excel, we would just kind of bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
But I got really lucky. And I think both of my teachers were really great too. I don't know if you would even know who they are, but I went to Milan and I had a teacher named Doreen, and she was just like this light of energy. She just was very peaceful. She was a massage therapist too. And she would come and she'd be like, do you guys want me to do cupping on you? And she would just like, she was so nice.
Man, yeah, my esthetician instructor was awesome. But when I went through Milan, we didn't phase into anybody else's class. You stayed with your class and your instructor the whole way through until it came time to like do state board testing. And then we had, was it Mrs. Castro?
She was my teacher.
Yeah, she's Milan's like state
OG.
Board.
She's an OG for sure.
Yeah, and then she would like come in and help do some of the state board prepping, but we still had our instructor until she left. I think after our class graduated, she left. But she was great. But she didn't. Her husband at the time did massage, but she didn't. So we didn't get.
Yeah, we didn't get cupping treatments.
We didn't get cupping treatments. But yeah, our class was. I think we started off with like it was under 15 people, and then I think maybe 2 or 3 dropped out kind of along the way.
It happens.
But then out of the group that did finish aesthetics together, I think there's only like 2 of us, 3 of us that are still in the industry in like some capacity.
It's hard because I feel like too, I've noticed girls who I went to school with and I'm like, are they still practicing? No. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's not for everybody, but I'm like, we invest so much time and money into this. Why are we not practicing still? But if it's not for you, it's not for you.
And I think just being self-employed is hard anyway. And so self-employed, just learn a new service, trying to build clients,
being able to afford it.
It's crazy. So what was your experience coming out of beauty school? Were you able to like work with your mom and sister or?
No, my sister was downtown in a studio with one other girl just doing hair. My mom actually recently decided to like close down her salon and she's just doing her clients from home. She's been doing it for like 20 plus years. So she has her OGs. They don't care. They come to the house and they
probably bring lunch.
Literally they drink. Like they have the time of their life to get their nails done.
The dream. That's the dream.
Where I was just starting out. So I don't have that clientele base where I could just be like, come on over girls. Like I don't feel like facials, waxing is a little bit more intimate than a nail appointment.
That's true.
I personally don't want to go to someone's house and get undressed. That's just like a preference.
Right. Yes.
But so no, I didn't have that luxury, but I was very lucky in the aspect of meeting someone. Her name was Maida. She's a hairdresser and she's been one forever. Like she trains girls for state board. Like she's just OG. Like she's maybe like in her 60s. Like she's an older lady, but she's had a salon forever off of Palm and Bullard. And my mom knew her and was going to rent a room from her to do nails. And she's like, hey, like she has a random empty room. Like, let's just ask her. And she goes, sweetheart, you can work here for free for the first 6 months. The first 6 months turned into a year. And she's like, okay, at your year mark, like, you know, like we'll start paying rent. So I was able to like use that whole first year to kind of invest all my money that I was making into my business. So I got really lucky.
Yeah.
I will say.
No, that's amazing. That's what an opportunity.
And I was there for 3.5 years.
Okay. Palm and Bullard.
I was there for 3.5 years and I loved it. But like my little room, I outgrew her. And then my sister ventured off and was like, I'm going to open a salon. So it's like, okay. And I was like, how fun would it be to work with my older sister?
Yeah.
And it has been. She like built my room specifically because it was just one big open concept. So she took the time, she built me a room like how I wanted it. So I felt really lucky.
And the salon is called
Studio 87.
And where's Studio 87?
We are located on Shaw between Fruit and West. We're right next to a family dentist.
Nice. I love it because my sister works at my salon here with me. She's a tattoo artist.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun to get to work with your sister.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always like girl time. So it's nice.
Yeah.
And I know her clients too. So I like, if I'm in between clients, I go sit up there and I'm like, so this happened today. And like, so I still get the salon gossip, even though I'm by myself with my clients all day. Cause I just come out there and start.
And how many people are at the
Me, my sister, and my cousin. It's
Oh.
literally 3 of us. But we are looking for more people. I'm looking for someone to share my room part-time, a lash tech.
Hey.
In case there's any lash techs out there who want to share a room with me.
Just saying. And so what services do you provide now?
So I currently do facials, body treatments, and waxing. But I guess kind of niche. I really love to do like the core parts of waxing, which is just Brazilians, pits, and brows. And like I'll do like lip too, because it's like in and out easy. But I love a good Brazilian.
Nice.
I did. I fell in love with that like a couple years ago. I was so scared to do it though at first. And then once I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like once you find like your technique and your pattern, it's once you get that down,
You're in and
it's
out.
like, yeah. When I first got out of beauty school, like so many estheticians, we offer everything to kind of figure out like
what it is,
where we want to focus and put our focus and energy. And when I went to beauty school, I was already working as a makeup artist. So I went to beauty school because I wanted to understand skin better so that I could do makeup better.
Right.
And so I didn't go in it thinking or caring really about like how great I was going to be at facials or waxing. Like I was scared to do waxing or all these other little things. But I fell in love with all of it. It was all so much. I just like my brain likes to learn.
It was fun.
Things.
It's fun.
Yeah. And one of the first places I worked at was a friend's day spa where I did facials every single day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm spent.
It's exhausting doing facials all day for whatever reason. I think it's like the atmosphere because it's like peaceful and cool.
And I think maybe it's a little different too because it was a day spa where people, they weren't coming for treatments. It was like they got a gift card for Mother's Day. And so they were there for their spa day. And so it was like I was answering the same questions over and over and over. Nobody would rebook a facial. Nobody wanted to buy a product because it was like they were just there for the spa experience
of it. Yeah.
And I got so burnt out. I was doing like 6 facials back to back a day.
Yeah.
I was like zombie mode, massage.
Which is the dream if it's your book clientele and they're coming back and back. But like if there's no client retention, that like kind of is like exhausting.
that you can get very specific with like the advanced facial techniques, all the modalities and all the different treatments you can do. And that's where like I feel like my science nerdiness would totally come out and do. But fortunately I found my niche in the industry and like ran with it. But with your skincare, are there like favorite modalities you use?
1,000%.
Okay, what is it?
1,000%. I am a glow girl.
Oh,
so I am more into that instant gratification. I love dermaplaning. I love to dermaplane so much. Like I don't mind acne, like I don't, but I don't feel like that's like where I excel at. Like I think there's girls who enjoy science like to another level. And that's more their speed. Where I like that. Ooh, look at her. She's out there glowing. Yeah. And like her, you can see it in all the pictures. I'm like, wow, you look good. I love that instant gratification though. So like I always tell people I'm a glow girl. If you want to glow, I am your girl.
Glowy, healthy, bouncy skin.
But if there's like intense acne, I would recommend them to like one of my friends who I know loves acne and we'll get to like down and break down the science of it all. Like I'm a glow girl. But I think that's why I enjoy waxing. I enjoy dermaplaning and then body treatments too. So I do like, I don't call it a vajacial. I just personally don't like the word. It just sounds so silly. So I call it a Brazilian treatment. So I do those. I do booty facials. I do back facials. And then even for like pregnant women, I do belly facials. Yeah. So that's more my glow girl.
Nice.
Body treatments.
And I know like dermaplaning, I feel... because we really weren't allowed to do it.
No.
Until, was it this year or last year?
I think last year was the first year. Yeah. Legally.
And so, legally.
Let's emphasize it was barely legal.
Again, guys, we're in California where we can do like almost nothing legally.
Which is so funny considering how
free our state is.
I know.
Like the most like.
But don't you dare dermaplane that face.
Don't you bring a scalpel near my face.
Don't you do it. You know what's so funny actually along those lines is the scalp treatments getting really popular, like the scalp
like the Korean
baths
spa,
and
and like I've seen those, and they like
Yes.
have scalp treatments and everything.
So, I looked into that just because I like to learn, and I want to like, what is this? Who gets to do it? Does California get to do it? Okay,
Isn't it cosmetologist?
So here's the thing: as an esthetician,
Mhm.
we are allowed to treat the scalp.
Mhm.
So we could get in there and like do the scalp treatment part.
Mhm.
We are not allowed to rinse it out of the hair.
Is that? I don't know if I like that. I don't want anybody
Right?
leaving a greasy mess.
So yeah, so it's like
You can do it like a tag team situation.
exactly. Yeah. So if an
It's like me
esthetician,
and my sister. Good
Yeah.
tag team.
yes, for real.
Quiet.
So like the only way an esthetician, like you could do the service as an esthetician is if you treat the scalp because you're treating the skin on the scalp,
Mhm.
right? And then a cosmetologist can come in and rinse the hair out.
That seems like
We're not allowed to rinse it out of the hair.
That sounds so wild. Isn't that crazy?
We can glue extensions to your tiny little eyelash hairs, but we
But didn't
can't
that just
wash
barely
the
become
soap.
legal too for estheticians, like within the last 5 years?
Extensions?
Yeah,
No.
they've always been able to.
Mhm.
Huh. I thought that was like cosmetology only because it was hair.
Mm-mm.
There's
No.
so many crazy
There's
rules,
so-
and it's so hard to keep up with it. I'm like, refer back to your state board guides, just so you're sure you're so positive, everyone.
And then on top of that is like, state board can say that they are updating and changing rules and
Mhm.
policies for us
Mhm.
and make it known that it's passed. But until it's in writing and in the official like document,
Uh-huh.
we can't do it.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
So like the whole thing with like lash and brow tinting,
Mhm.
it was illegal forever and ever
Right.
until like this year. But there's only one product that's technically legal for us to use, because if you read the fine print, it says that the stain or dye can only be left on the skin for, I think it's like 60 seconds or 90 seconds, something like that. And there's only one
Company
FDA approved tint
that does that.
that does that.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So
Be careful.
refer to your state board and read the fine print and, ask an Estie bestie what they've heard.
No, that's what I just heard. You heard it here first. We all heard it here together.
And speaking of like asking an Estie bestie, what is this Estie Collective? What's it all about? Where'd the idea come from?
The Estie Collective is my baby.
Mhm.
So it started 2 years ago.
Okay.
I remember just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like when you're a solo esthetician, you don't have a lot of friends like that get what you're doing. Like you have your girlfriends outside of
Mhm.
aesthetics, but they don't really understand what you're talking about, or they don't understand what it's like to own a business or like
Mhm.
have that pressure. So like I said, I had a really good beauty school experience and I loved having my girls,
Yeah.
but we all kind of drifted apart, and not in bad ways, just everyone's in different areas.
Yeah.
Like Hanford, Lindsay, Tulare,
Yeah.
like we're all over the place. So we
Mhm.
don't get to connect the way we used to, like, because you're in school, you see each other every day. And I was like, I wish there was like some way, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's hard making friends as an adult. And then
Mhm.
especially in the industry, I feel like sometimes people get nervous because like, there is like that like competitiveness or jealousy,
Yeah.
which shouldn't happen because there's
Yeah.
so much room for everybody to grow and like excel in their careers. So I was like, okay, what can I do? Like, what can I do to like create a community for girls in Fresno? Because I realized there wasn't really a community other than like a Facebook group.
Yeah.
And even then it's a Facebook group.
Right.
It's
still
online.
online.
It's
Yeah.
online. I still don't actually get to know you and who you are. So 2 years ago, I hosted my first brunch, which was at Blast and Brew.
Mhm.
And it was great and I loved it, but I realized it was growing and we were too rowdy for a restaurant. We had too much fun because once all these girls got together and realized they had so much in common, it was like, and everybody's getting louder and louder on top of each other. So I was like, oh my God, I need a different environment. And I love to throw a good party outside of aesthetics. Like I love a good get together. I'm good at planning parties. And I was like, I can do this on my own. Like I don't need a restaurant. Like I have a nice house. Like why would I not just throw
Yeah.
parties? And so that's kind of how that grew. And then I was like, okay, how can I elevate this? How can I get better? Because it used to just be brunch and we'd meet up for like a couple hours, go home.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, guest speakers. So we'll have guest speakers, different girls in the industry, whether they're big, whether they're small, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a different story to tell. And everybody like wants to learn something new. So I was like, okay, we'll do guest speakers. Okay, what else? Photo shoots. What girl does not love to like up their Instagram and get new headshots taken? So every other month I've done guest speaking photo shoot events, and that's kind of how that grew. And then I was like, I feel like we need more activity. It kept spiraling more and more. I was like, I feel like we need more activity based like events that aren't like more casual, more like girls' night vibes.
Yeah.
So that's when I started doing like the vision board nights, and like my next one coming up, it's going to be like a luau.
Oh my god.
We're running a water slide. We're going to have karaoke. We're getting the food catered. Like it's going to be so much fun.
I love that because I know that there's groups of people in the industry that try to get together and do like a brunch or go have lunch but like to get together with a group of people and do fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's so much more intriguing to me than like sitting around
at a table.
It's
very formal to be.
Well, and then it's hard to like talk to the person over here.
Yeah.
Like you end up just talking to the people you sit next to or the person across from you. You really don't get to talk to like everyone. So
yeah, and I feel like too, I am really a social butterfly. My friends and I actually just kind of touched base on this last night. We're talking, they're like, no, you're really good at like controlling a room. She was like, because you talk to everybody, like you can know nothing about someone, but she's like, by the end of your conversation, you're gonna feel like best friends. I was like, I love that. I'm glad you guys feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, our industry, like we're all about people, so it makes sense that.
But this is like a good way for us to take care of ourselves and like have a girls' day. Like I'm like, we're literally just girls being girls and having fun together and not caring about the stresses from our work day.
And how do people, if they want more information on the Estie Collective?
Yeah, so you would just follow the Estie Collective. I'm actually going to be posting information there on August 1st, but I continuously post about it. So I'll post it there. I'll post it on my actual esthetician page. So they'll find it there. And then there's just, they'll DM me for an application. Everyone who applies can come. It's more just so I can keep track of like everyone who's coming. Yeah. Get your IG handles, know your first and last name. That way, whatever we're doing. Cause like other events I've done like merch, like where I give the girls or like that way, like I always kind of know. So yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, what's kind of like a future goal that you have? Or is there one? Or is it just more of like a organic, like let's just keep rolling with it and see what it does?
As far as like the collective goes, my next goal is my retreat.
Oh,
I want to host a retreat twice a year. But I'm like so nervous to do it because I don't know. I'm like, do girls want to do that? Is that like a thing? So I'm like, I don't know. And like, I feel like price is always like an issue because it's like a retreat's like that's a commitment. It's a whole weekend away, and like so I'm like, are girls gonna want to even do that? But I have it all planned already. I just haven't like
done
put it out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I'm nervous because I'm like, do I want to do it in the winter? Do I want to wait till summer? So I think I'm gonna wait till summertime. This next year because
maybe summer of 2025.
It's gonna be like summer camp vibes.
Oh my gosh.
So
how fun. No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think people definitely want to do that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm looking at a space right now in Bass Lake. So we're on like summer camp vibes. We'll have guest speakers, not just like local ones. Like I've reached out to different girls in the industry who like do social media management, business marketing, like different kind of courses. Like I don't know if you ever heard of like Rhea's. Like she's like she does business management and like social media marketing. Okay. So she's like really big and like she has a class, and so she's going to do it over Zoom because she's not California based. So there's like different things like that. That's the goal.
And so goal. You have one that's coming up.
Yes.
Right? And what's the theme of that one?
Again? That one's on August 24th, and that's going to be a luau.
A luau.
Yeah, we're getting it catered with like Hawaiian barbecue, and then we were renting a water slide. We have a whole karaoke machine set up, dancing, karaoke, just like the whole shebang. Like kick off the end of summer, And
information on that's going to be posted
August 1st.
August 1st. Okay.
Literally a couple days.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. I know, we're already almost there.
July 30th.
Literally the 30th. A couple days already.
Kids go back to school, and I have to do back to school shopping. I have like this whole, oh my goodness.
Time flies.
End of July. Kills me.
I can't even believe that we're already in August. I'm like, okay, cool. How do we get here?
I feel like for me and my family, we have so many birthdays that start. Mine is in September, and then my husband's is in October. Both of my parents are in November. My sister and my youngest are December. So I have another cousin in November. It's like, it gets so crazy as soon as it hits September. So I feel like August is my last month to like make sure things are prepared for me to be out of my mind the rest of the year. That's nuts. Oh, okay. Let's see. So when you started the collective,
Mhm.
who was the first like group of gal pals, and what you guys did brunch?
We did brunch at Boston Brew.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So I actually did have a guest speaker for that one.
Okay.
And she was actually someone who I looked up to a lot. I actually went to high school with her. She was a couple years older than me. Her name's Nicole Jones. She owns Shed and Glow.
Okay.
So she was my first guest speaker. And I picked her because anytime I needed help, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. Da, da, da. Without hesitation, always answered my messages, was very kind, and never like shut me out. Because I feel like a lot of times that does happen. Like girls don't want to share their tips or tricks or like where they get certain things from.
Yeah.
And she never did. So she was actually my first guest speaker. And I posted the event on Instagram, and I did not know a single girl. I did not know a single one of them, but they're like my ride or die girls because a lot of them still continuously come every single month, like to different events. And so I think it's so cool, but I didn't know any of them. Only through social media, we followed each other.
Yeah. There's just so much value in building a community.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I hear people talking about, oh, you know, get your tribe, get your people, build your friends. And it's like, we can talk about it, but there's not very many people like going out on a limb and actually like trying to make that happen. And I think that a lot of it's probably has to do with not wanting to show up and not know anyone. And
it's scary.
That kind of like,
yeah,
and then having to like meet new people. It's like we want to do it, but it's also really
the actual
intimidating
act
to
of
do.
doing it is like the stressful part.
Yeah. Do you do any like ice breaking games or anything to like get people?
I like usually will start and I'm like, I'll tell my story, and then I kind of like
I
kind of make everybody tell their story. I'm like, my friends always laugh because they're like, you force friendship. I'm like, I don't force it. I just want people to come out of their shells. And we were just talking about this. Like when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. And anytime we'd go to cheer camp, my coach would say, I'm going to put you the two quietest girls. Okay, get them out of their shell.
Aww.
And by the end of cheer camp, they were talking to everybody. So it works.
Yeah.
My methods work. And I'm not mean about it. I want you to feel comfortable. And I want you to know that this is a safe place where you can genuinely be yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Let loose.
But like we do have like we have one girl, I love her. She is so sweet. When I first met her, she was so quiet and shy, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, it's okay, you're gonna be fine. I'm like, you can sit next to me, I don't care. It's like, we'll be best friends by the end of this. And she comes back to every single one, and each time I notice her little by little breaking out of her shell more. So it's working.
She's feeling more comfortable. She's making a space for herself.
And she was killing it. She's done like 3 photo shoots with us already. I'm like, okay, girl, get it. And like each photo shoot, I could see her confidence building a little bit more and more in herself.
Yeah.
And even like today on her Instagram, she's like posting and talking to her people, not just like posting pictures. So I'm like you're breaking out of your shell. That's what I wanted.
I love that. I know it can be a scary place.
It's intimidating.
There's a lot going on all the time in the industry, so it's nice. And I love that you had somebody that you could talk to and answer questions for you. And I try to do that. When I started in the industry, I knew nobody that like
didn't
worked in the industry. And my first salon experience, my first salon experience, I was 18 as a receptionist.
Okay.
And I just saw the drama happening like all over the salon. And because I was receptionist and I was like a neutral party, all the grown-ups came and like told me all the things. And I was like, there's no way
I don't want to know
in heck that I want to ever own a salon.
No, because it's stressful.
But here I am.
She's doing it.
But it's not, we're not drama here, which is nice.
Well, I think it's how you control your culture.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do
sure
with like how you control the environment.
For sure. And my first experience like working in the day spa. I was probably there for like maybe 2 weeks. I was still trying to like learn and meet everyone who worked there because this day spa is huge, and there was like tons of hairstylists who worked on the other side of the salon. And whenever I got a chance, I try to like pop over there and like say hi and meet more in the break room, try and like introduce myself. And same thing with the couple of other estheticians that worked there and the nail girls that worked there and massage therapist people. And it was funny because I could almost right away tell who would like chit chat back with me and be warm and like welcoming. And then I could tell who would not even want to breathe the same air as me.
Yeah.
And I learned.
You learned how to read people's energy real fast.
But I will say though, like there was one esthetician in particular, and she had been there like forever and ever and ever.
Mhm.
And everyone warned me. Like, nobody was talking crap about anybody, but
just be careful.
They did say, like, just don't take it personal if so-and-so isn't like the most friendly off the bat. She really needs time to get to know you. And she treats all new people like, I go like they don't exist. Like, just because that's literally how I feel like I was like invisible.
You're like, am I here?
Right.
Hello?
And I remember I'd like try to break the ice and go in and be like, hey, good morning. And it was like, morning.
Oh.
And I was like, you know what?
I don't like that.
I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you with kindness and either going to be super obnoxiously friendly to you or, I mean, that's my options, right? Like,
kill them with kindness.
Killing them with kindness and be like obnoxiously friendly or also ice you out. But I can't do that. I can't ignore people.
It's not your personality.
It's not. So, I tried killing her with kindness and I could tell she hated it.
She's like, you're too nice.
I could tell she hated it. I should probably like, please stop trying so hard. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to break these walls down. Oh my God. And and I slowly chiseled away at the wall. And I wouldn't say we were like friends, but it got to the point where if I said hi, she would be like, oh, good morning. It wasn't just a
progress.
Hey, yeah, I'll take it. Progress. I'll take what I can get. Yeah. So being new in the industry can be hard, but I love that you have this collective going, and I love that you've got just like more plans for it to like do stuff.
We even had a girl come from like Morro Bay.
Oh wow!
I was like, how did you find me? Yeah. Like, how did you even hear about this? And she had a friend from Fresno, but I was like,
that's awesome.
Like, Morro Bay, what the heck? Like,
see, and I feel like people are looking for that. Connection, because again we talk about it all the time, but how do we actually make that happen, and where do we go to make those connections?
I'm like, you just need to show up and you'll find your people. You just got to show up,
just be there.
That's where I met the two girls I do the podcast with. We met at an event and we ended up being like ding! Like we just instantly
clicked. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you won't know unless you go.
That's true.
And like, who doesn't love a luau and karaoke?
Yeah. I'm like, don't take the bike from me, guys. There's two. I get one.
Who doesn't love it?
We love karaoke. And then usually like we have a bartender.
Of course.
Excellent. I feel like loosen up the vibes. Yes. I'm like, it's not 21 and over, but I will be checking IDs.
Yes.
Like liability.
We will be responsible.
But yeah, no. So I'm excited for that one. It'll be fun. They're always fun. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're always a good time.
Yeah. And then I can't wait for you to like make the retreat thing happen.
I know that one's so scary, but I'm excited.
I know that we get into this industry and we are self-employed and we get really wrapped up in trying to make connections with other people in the industry. We are servicing our clients and our priority is to keep our business afloat. And then we have a private life at home that we go home to every day. And it's really easy to kind of put our own needs off. And then we get to the point where it's like we're burning the candle on both ends. And then it's like, then what? Like burnout happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But it's important that we like find some way to bounce back and like take care of ourselves. And I know this is a topic that you definitely wanted to bring up and talk about and hit on. So I would love for you to share your thoughts on how important our own self-care is.
Yeah. So I think I wanted to touch bases on this because I feel like not a lot of people talk about it because like mental health and all that, it's like kind of taboo, which I like, hello, it's 2024. Why is it taboo to talk about? Like, let's be honest. Like, we're humans. There's so many different mental health concerns to worry about. So why wouldn't we bring more awareness to it? And for me personally, I like am very hard on myself when I mess up and like I will beat myself up and I had to like learn to like channel that energy and be like, you made a mistake. It's okay. We're moving on. And I think it was maybe like 2 years ago, I completely got burnt out. Like I stopped posting on social media. I didn't want to like take clients, but it's because I was literally at the salon from like 8 a.m., 8 o'clock at night, like 12 hours days. And then in between those times on social media, posting content, texting clients, If like a mistake happened, I would like fixate on it and like fester on that like mistake. And I'm like, oh my God. So I felt like I was like, okay, we need to do something. Like we really need to change this narrative because like you love being an esthetician and you're literally working yourself so hard that you're burnt out. So I felt like for me, it was really important to set boundaries.
Yes.
And I feel like we all say, I need to set boundaries, but like you really do need to set boundaries with like your family, your relationship, your clients. It's okay to set boundaries with them. They're going to love you and respect you probably more with those boundaries because I feel like it's very easy to get walked all over if you don't set boundaries. So like for me, I don't respond. I only respond between the hours of 8 a.m. to 7 o'clock. After 7, I shut off my phone and I will not respond till the next day unless it's an absolute emergency. Right. But it's like, cause that time after is for me to unwind, for me to do my things. And I felt like too, I was like, okay, what are you doing that makes Ashleigh happy? Like, yes, being an esthetician makes you happy, but like what at your core makes you happy? Yeah. Dancing, hot works, Pilates, hanging out with your friends. Was not doing any of that anymore. Yeah. Wasn't doing any of it anymore. So I was like, okay, take a step back. Like, let's figure it out. Like, you need a schedule. Cause I don't know, I'm a schedule girl. Like I run from 5 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night. Like I love a good schedule.
I love a good schedule. I take notes on everything. I have Post-it notes everywhere.
Yeah. You should see my iPhone notes. It's crazy. Like I am constantly like, and everyone thinks I'm texting. No, I'm taking notes.
No, taking notes.
And so for me, I felt like it was really important to kind of have like some kind of routines. Like every morning now I wake up 5 a.m., make my bed, drink some water, journal, get ready, go to work for the day. And that's it. That's like how I get my day going. But that routine helps me stay kind of balanced and feel like I have somewhat of control over my life, I guess. And then even too, when I come home, like same thing, I have my nighttime routine, which is like my skincare. I read for 30 minutes and like I try to stay off my phone like 30 minutes before I go to bed so I can just kind of like relax. Yeah. Which is like, we say like, do that, but no one ever does. And then I finally started to, and I'm like, okay. Like,
oh yeah, it does work.
Now I see what the mental health girlies are talking about. Like I feel so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I, years ago got a separate shop phone and,
so smart.
It's people don't have my personal number anymore.
Good.
It's clients all get the shop phone and it's a cell phone too. Like you can text that phone, you can leave voicemails, whatever. But I learned that because man, that phone will go off at like 11, 12. I'll come back and there's text messages from 2 o'clock in the morning.
You're like, girl, what were you doing up this late thinking about your brows for?
Holy mackerel. Or Sundays are
that's your day.
No work day, absolute family day. I try to make my Saturdays. I try to do whole weekends now. I worked a really long time. And so I try not to have
You're trying to enjoy your
weekends
peace
anymore. Yeah. My kids are getting bigger and they're busier and like they're all over the place and everyone's doing something different. So it's nice to have those weekends where where we come together and we do family stuff. But it was really hard to do that when my phone was constantly blowing up. So I don't turn I'm definitely scrolling on my phone at bedtime.
That's okay.
I definitely have a problem but it's like my way to kind of
that's your therapy.
Decompress. Yeah. It's like I get to decompress. I get to just zone out on silly like wiener dog videos and look at recipes and I don't even know what my feed is full of anymore, but it just helps me zone out. Yeah. But setting those boundaries are hard. It gets easier like the longer you're in it. But yeah, boundaries, whether it's like turning off your phone at a certain time, telling yourself not to respond to that social media message. Like I see
it. It's so easy. It's so easy too.
Yeah. But let me just pretend you don't see it.
But I think the fear is that if you don't respond, you're afraid you're going to lose your client. And it shouldn't be that way. Because like if you lose your client for not responding at 2 a.m, then maybe they probably weren't the client for you. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yes.
Because your clients will respect your boundaries.
Absolutely. And the more you set those boundaries and uphold your policies.
Girl, the policies.
You will find the clients who respect all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have actually had numerous phone calls of first-time new clients when we go over like our booking policies,
Mm-hmm.
our cancellation policies. We take credit card information.
Right.
And of course you get those, oh, I'm not going to give you my number or my
Yeah.
credit card number. It's like, I totally get it. However,
That's
I can't book you unless we complete your client profile. So we have other options for those clients. But every once in a while, we'll get a new client who's like, thank God,
Mm-hmm.
because you've got policies that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're easy to understand. You're keeping me accountable as a client, which means I get to keep you accountable as a business. And I'm cool. Yeah, here's some information.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's more professional too, especially when you're actually like upholding your policies.
Yes.
Because then it's like no one can walk all over you because it's there in fine print, and I actually abide by my own policies.
Yeah, and then you end up with your books being filled with clients who know and respect your policies.
Exactly.
Who'd have thought?
And that's the tea.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
So what are some things, I know you've got your morning routine, you've got your night routine. Do you have any little like hobbies and things that you do to like have just Ashleigh time?
I do like to work out, but I like hot works. That's like nice.
Oh,
specific.
girls
Have you
go
ever-
outside.
Girl, it's not even the same. Have you ever done hot works?
No.
No.
I don't like sweat.
Oh no, see, I like to sweat. I like that feeling. I like feeling like my body's all hot and like I just got a really good workout. Hot works is like the coolest thing if you don't mind being hot when you work out. It gets up to like 110 degrees in there, I think. But they have like Pilates, bun workouts, rowing. They have cycling. They have like so many different kinds of like HIIT workouts. And then they actually have like a little mini gym as well. And it's 24 hours. So you have like your own little passcode to get into the building. So it's kind of nice. And then the sauna's pretty much private. Like 3 people can fit in there. So like if you want to go with a friend, you guys can book it together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wait,
like,
there's a sauna in the hot works?
so that's what hot works is. So it's like
It's
sauna.
Yeah,
It's a bunch of sauna boxes
Okay.
all piled in a building.
Oh
And it's like the craziest thing when you've never been and you walk in, you're like, what is this? Like, what is this place? But me and my little sister tried it for the first time together and we're like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do like 110 degrees. No, our first one, we died. We literally were like in fetal position, like it's a good workout.
How often do you do hot works?
I try to go once a day, but I know. But with my schedule now, it's super hard to get in because I'm like, I just want my bed. I want to watch House of Dragon and sleep.
Oh my God, House of Dragon. Oh my gosh.
I'm a House of Dragon.
So
girl.
good. So my sister, actually, before you got here, my sister and I were just talking about the most recent episode. Are you all caught up?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I won't
I
spill
know.
no beans. I will keep
I'm-
all the beans to myself.
I'm binge watching the last 2 episodes on Saturday.
The beans are spicy.
I have a coworker and he told me, he was like, girl, it gets good. I'm like, just don't say anything else.
So, were you a big Game of Thrones fan too?
I just barely watched Game of Thrones this year.
That's okay. You watched it.
I
All
did.
of it?
All of it.
Okay.
All of it.
All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd like it, which is funny because I love Harry Potter and like those kind of movies. But yeah, so I just finally decided to watch it.
Self-care. That counts.
It counts as self-care.
Well, Miss Ashleigh, you also have a new project, a new baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's another probably something that will like continue to grow and you'll think of more fun things to do.
Yeah.
But you've got a podcast on your hands.
Yep, I do.
Tell us about the podcast. Who's involved? What's it about?
So I am one of the co-hosts on Estie's Unfiltered. We came up with the name because our little friend group, our little trio, we are just very like gabbers. Like we just can talk and we get on tangents and we just kind of tell it how it is. So I feel like there is no rhyme to our reason. Like we have an outline. We usually stay to it, but sometimes we kind of go off and we bring it back and we figure it out. But we use it more as like girl therapy. Which is probably not like the best therapy, but it's girl therapy. And sometimes you just need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So our first episode was more of just like introduction so people could kind of get to know us. We sent out our disclaimers. I was like, if we sound like we're being mean to each other, we're not. Like we're just very sassy and that's how we communicate.
We really do like each other.
Well, like we love each other here. I was like, but that's just how we communicate. And then our second one was about like secret animosity and like making friends in the industry and like just all that kind of stuff. So they're somewhat industry based, but it's also, I feel like, for our clients and the girls who get it kind of thing. Because we wanted it to be more broad. Like we'll touch base on some like industry things, but also like we have like some things coming up. We're like doing like our time in beauty school or like horror stories in the industry that we've heard, like things that are entertaining or like we've done a client story time already. Like, because I feel like we get the best gossip from our clients, and with their permission, they're letting us tell their stories like anonymously. So it's more just like girl time.
I had a wild client interaction probably like 6 months ago now. We get a lot of calls about ladies who are like, need an emergency lash extension removal. We get it a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
And there was a lady that called and she was like in tears on the phone. Like, I've got to get these off my face. I have work tonight. The girl was so sweet. I didn't want to tell her, but I cannot go to work like this.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm thinking like,
how bad is it?
My God.
Yeah.
What is walking through? Because we've seen some things.
Some crazy things, yeah.
And this lady, so she was first of all, she was thrilled that I could squeeze her in. And she showed up early and was like ready to go as soon as I could take her.
Please help me.
And I literally saw her eyelashes before I saw the rest of her. They were, listen, there's something for everyone. This definitely was not for her. And holy mackerel. So yeah, so we get in and like, we're working on getting these things off her eyeballs. And I just kind of asked like nonchalantly, like, oh, so, what else are you doing today? Trying to pass the time while I got these things off of her.
Yeah.
And she just starts gabbing about how she got caught cheating. And so now she's got to like make it up to her husband. And like, but she doesn't feel that bad because he just cheated on her. And it was just like,
oh my God.
It just like,
she trauma dumped on you.
Oh my God. And she's talking about it like it is the most normal conversation. And she's loud and there's other people. So she's clearly not worried about other people hearing her story. And I was like, oh my Lanta. And I'm like cracking up because she is just laying there
eyes
with
closed.
These things and her arms. And she's just talking about how, I just got caught cheating. And then but I don't feel that bad, but I got to go make dinner for my husband and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow. Of all my years doing what I do, I had not seen that yet. I had not had that yet. So, yeah.
It is so funny because I feel like we're almost like therapists. So they feel so
1000%.
comfortable the moment they lay down. That's like, you hear everything. Like, there's so many stories I've heard. And I'm like, I didn't want to know this.
Right.
I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be here. But that was a lot. That was so much.
And what's funny is like she paid and everything was fine. Her lashes were fine. She was able to go about her day, go to work, and then go take care of, her marital situation. But as soon as she paid and left, I'm like cracking up and I look over at one of my girls who was there and she looked at me and she's like,
what the heck?
I heard everything. And I was like, I'm sure the people in the building next door heard everything.
I'm pretty sure all of Shaw heard that.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows what's happening. And she's like, so do you think she's going to come back? I was like, oh, absolutely not. I guarantee she probably
one and done kind of thing.
Yeah, I guarantee she probably won't be back after dumping all that.
Trauma dumping. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how I would show my face again.
It's wild. So yeah. So there you go. That was there we go. That was an interesting client interaction.
There's a client interaction. No, but we have so many of them. But yeah, the girls I do the podcast with are both really great, but it's so funny because we all have we all have the same personality but in different fonts. Like if you look at us like collectively, like we all have very different styles, but personality wise, we're both on the same like chaotic energy. Okay. So I think that's like our podcast vibe is chaos. It's just
good old chaos.
But it just makes you laugh and it makes you feel good. Like I literally like listened to ourselves like while I was at work today. I was like, wow, we're so funny. Like maybe we just think we're funny, but I think we're hilarious.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we're great.
Literally, I was like,
and no one else met the other two. Well, first of all, who are the other two?
So one is my girl Roz. She's a brow artist in Madera. By Roslyn Soul is her Instagram.
I'm like, let me plug them.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
And then my other friend is Marissa, and she owns the landing strip, and it's Aesthetics by Marissa.
Okay.
On Instagram. So they're both like their own.
And how'd you guys all meet?
At an event. So
at one of your events.
Yeah, I met Roz not this last May, but the past May. So 2 May. Oh my God, it's been that long. Yeah, it's been 2 Mays ago.
And then Marissa, I just met her in February, but it feels like I've known her like.
Whose idea was
Both
the
of them.
podcast?
So Marissa wanted to start one on her own, but she had never mentioned it to anybody. And I was literally at work one day and I called her. I was like, you know what I was thinking? And she's like, well, I was like, I think we should start a podcast. I was like, I don't know what we're going to call it, but we definitely need a podcast. And she's like, I was literally just talking to my husband that I want to do a podcast. And he said, you know who you should do a podcast with? He's like, that girl who does events. He didn't know my name. He didn't know who I was, but he's like, you guys seem, he's like, you guys seem like you like would vibe well together. And we do. And then Rosalind, like I said, we both met Marissa. Me and Rosalind met Marissa in February. And we all three kind of connected because I hosted a karaoke night. And we just loved each other's energy. So I had a girls' night and invited them both over. Me and Marissa looked at her like, we have an idea. And she's like,
my gosh.
what? I was like, we're starting a podcast. She's like, I'm in, let's do it. And literally we just like went for it, bought couches, bought like a studio set, mics, everything. I was like, oh, we're really doing this.
And where do you guys film it at?
We film it at Marissa's studio at the landing strip. We have like our own little room there.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I was like, we have our first and second episode are out on Spotify and YouTube already.
Perfect.
And like, I personally would say go watch the YouTube video because it's so much more entertaining to see our faces. Because there are like moments where you just hear, and you don't know what we're laughing at because like so and so did something funny. So we're like,
but you don't get it once you see the video.
Yeah, we're like dying laughing.
Oh my god! And is the YouTube like the same handle?
Yeah, so the handle's the same across the platform. Estie's Unfiltered, except for TikTok for whatever reason. We had to use 3 S's because someone took our handle. And the thing is, it happened very recently because we checked TikTok and it was available. And the next day we went to make
Somebody swooped it. We see you.
You know what? We already told about our podcast. We just want it back.
We see you.
We just want it back.
What are you gonna do with it?
I was like, are you a fan page? That's fine, but like, say fan page.
Dang. You know, my website actually got stolen from me. My original website, my foreveradore.com. Yeah. So like, yeah, the day it expired, I went to go renew it.
Stop.
And some third party swooped and bought it and tried to sell it back to me for $3,000.
That's what they do.
And I was like, that's fine. I'll just switch to foreverdoor.net. And that's what it's been.
We're .net over here.
Rude. So we see you, TikTok handle name stealer.
I know. I was like, who is preying on our downfall? I was like, that's so mean.
So mean.
I'm like, you can't use that handle anywhere else. Like, what are you gonna do with that TikTok account?
Nothing posted on it.
Nothing.
We're all gonna troll it.
Literally, there's nothing.
We're all gonna troll it now.
I reported it already.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I was like, we're reporting. You need to leave.
So do you guys have like goals for the podcast? What kind of things do you guys want to do?
I don't know if it's necessarily goals. I feel like this is almost like our therapy.
Yeah.
Like this is like our creative outlet for us to have fun together. We have like different plans, but nothing like big. Like we want to do like themed episodes and like we're already talking about like costumes and outfit ideas. Like we're just trying to have fun. That's all.
Yeah. I was originally thinking like for this podcast, like what if it's just like we're just in pajamas?
I would have been so down.
Like, I don't know. I might just like make it a requirement now that like
do like a pajamas and prosecco.
Interviews are in pajamas.
I think that's fair. I think that's a vibe.
That's it. Pajamas and maybe like bring your dog.
I couldn't bring mine. He's mean. I would love to, but he's mean.
Mine bark at everything, so yeah.
But mine also is a barker.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe not the
no
dogs.
dogs. Maybe no dogs.
Yeah, maybe not the dogs. Maybe just the pajamas.
Yeah. If you had said pajamas, I'd have been like, say less.
Seriously.
I'm there.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to have to like get ready for things. Like
I know.
I just show up in my pajamas.
That's kind of where we're at right now. We filmed 4 episodes already, and we're all like, "Can we just come comfy?"
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it's fun.
It's fun to get pretty, but
I think
I only have so many outfits in the closet.
Yeah, no, my pajama idea is still on the idea board.
We love that.
Yeah,
I'm here for a pajama.
We'll see what happens. Okay, Miss Ashleigh, you have been licensed since 2019. 5 years.
Yeah.
That's 5 years. For newly licensed people who maybe just scored their license like yesterday, what's some key advice you would give somebody starting out right now?
Knowledge is everything. Continue to learn everything you learned in beauty school. Take that with you, but don't stop there. They teach you the bare minimum, the basics you need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But almost every company I've ever gone to, they offer extra training. Sometimes there's like free, like I use SkinScript, and they have some free training online stuff. So do I. They're so good. They're so good. So my biggest piece of advice is definitely to continue to learn. Knowledge is everything. Make sure you're knowledgeable too, because that's like a good way for you to be able to build that trust with your client, because they're going to ask you questions and you don't ever want to be left kind of like, I don't know. Make sure you know. I'm like, just get all the knowledge you can. And then 2, don't be scared when you fail, because it happens. You're going to make mistakes. You're still learning. You're new. Like, I wish I didn't cry all the times over the times I made mistakes when I first learned, because I'm like, girl, look at where you're at now. You're good. Yeah. I'm like, mistakes are inevitable. You're learning. Find your people if you can. I'm like, there's a lot of beautiful women in our industry I feel like people can trust and like make connections with. Don't be scared to reach out. You may get rejected, because there are some girls who are not keen on sharing.
Not girls.
They're not.
That's all right.
I was like,
that's okay.
But you'll find your people. Maybe with me.
Estie Collective.
I'm like, you might find them there.
Collective.
Literally. Yeah. I'm like, there's a girl there for everybody. I'm like, everybody's friends. So yeah. But I think education is like the most important thing furthering.
I would 100,000,000,000% agree.
Yeah.
Education.
Yeah.
Our industry is so ever changing, and even when you learn a technique,
there's things
that technique is going to become outdated, and there's going to be new things for sure.
That's even now, like microderms. I'm like, they're so different. I'm like, I was like, this is not how I learned it. I don't know. I'm like, let me do more classes. So, and then go to trade shows.
Yes,
they're fun and to learn a lot.
Yes,
and you get the discounts on product,
and you get like swag bags.
We love a good
swag bag for sure. Well, thank you so much for coming onto the Cultivate Beauty podcast and talking about all the things that you've got going. I think it's great. And I feel like for somebody who's only been in it for 5 years, you've done so much great for other people, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love that. And so I hope that all of you guys go and check out the Estie Collective. I hope you check out her podcast, Estie's Unfiltered. Okay, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
DM me at Estie_Ashleigh. Me double check. I was like, wait, that is that right? It is. I swear it is.
Well, if it's not,
Estie Ashleigh, you'll find me. I'm the only one.
Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you have so much more success.
Thank you.
And I will definitely be checking out the Estie Collective.
I'm like, yeah, you need to
come. And then for sure, when you decide to do
a retreat as a guest speaker,
I'll come talk about things.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to talk about, but I'll come talk about things.
You've been in the industry. I'm sure you have a lot to talk about.
I've been here a long time.
You're a business owner. There's so many things for you to talk about.
True. I'll find something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Maybe the next time you see me, it'll be with Ashleigh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we will see you in the next podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
It was good.
Yay!
Just clips it. That was good.
Right. We're going to keep that in there.